Part 1. Karma. My cheating girlfriend said I was just a phase too broke to ever satisfy her life. My name's Braxton, and I run a custom motorcycle restoration shop. We work on old Harley-Davidsons and rare European bikes, the kind of machines that leak oil-turn heads and tell stories louder than any car ever could. Think 1970s Triumphs, 1950s Panheads. It's not some billion-dollar tech startup, but it pays the bills, keeps my hands dirty, and spares me the soul death of spending my life in a cubicle surrounded by buzzwords and ergonomic lies. I've been dating Natalie, 29, for about 15 months. We met at this little coffee shop that brewed espresso like monks were involved. She smiled, asked about my work like she actually cared what a carburetor does, and even came by the shop a few times. Didn't flinch at the grease, didn't bat an eye at the language blasting from my playlist. But then there's her family, a different world entirely. Upper-middle-class professionals, both parents CPAs. I fix up bikes that outlived the Cold War. They audit spreadsheets and throw dinner parties during tax season. Her mom, Daisy, was polite from day one, but always had that forced smile, the kind that says, "I'm pretending tofu tastes like real food." Every Sunday dinner, she'd ask about my business with the same tone people use when asking if someone washes their hands. Not rude, just surgical in her skepticism. If I said I rebuilt Harley engines, she'd want to see a 5-year growth projection. Despite all that, Sunday dinners became routine around the 6-month mark. Daisy cooked like she was chasing a Michelin star, and her husband Austin always ended up talking investments. I didn't mind. Free food, a little passive judgment, and honestly, Austin's not bad once you push through the finance jargon. He's basically a Wall Street Journal with dad jokes. Last Sunday started like all the others. We rolled up around 2 p.m. Daisy met us at the door apron on Smile Tight. Dinner was another spectacle roast, fancy sides, some quinoa dish that probably had a TED Talk about it. We ate, we chatted. Natalie was glowing. I was just trying to get through the meal without triggering Daisy's judgment reflex. Around 4, Natalie's phone rang. FaceTime. "Oh my God, Ariana, I haven't talked to you in forever." She squealed like her favorite boy band just got back together. She dashed off to the living room mid-sentence. I started clearing the table with Austin. I actually enjoy that part, less small talk, more movement. He's got a solid system, 2 rinses like a pro. From the kitchen, I could hear Natalie catching up laughing with Ariana about college stuff. "Remember when you locked us out of the dorm?" She said. "I still have a scar from that fire escape." They were giggling like it was a sitcom flashback. I was mid-dish when Natalie called out, "Mom, come here. Ariana wants to say hi." Daisy made her way to the living room. I finished loading the dishwasher, reloading it, since Austin had stacked 3 bowls, like he was playing blindfolded Tetris. I figured I'd grab my jacket before Daisy tried pulling me into another polite interrogation about municipal bonds. That's when I heard it. Natalie's voice. Softer, but not soft enough. "Oh, him, he's sweet, but don't worry, Mom. I'm just having fun. I'd never actually marry a mechanic." Then Daisy's voice, calm, but sharp, good. "I was starting to worry you were getting serious. Can you imagine bringing a grease monkey to my company events? He's fine for now, but I'm not stupid." There it was. The Daisy doctrine. Smile to your face, cut you to ribbons in the next room. I was standing just behind the hallway in that weird in-between where you can hear everything, but aren't technically there. Natalie sat on the couch, facing away. Daisy had her head turned just enough to miss me, unless I walked in juggling wrenches. The phone was on the coffee table, Ariana grinning like she was watching a rom-com instead of a relationship unravel in real time. Inside my head, silence. Not anger, not even heartbreak. Just a click like a bolt finally settling into place. So that's what this was. 15 months of coffee dates, show me the shop visits, Sunday dinners, and attempts at connection, all just a layover. I wasn't the destination. I was a novelty. A fun detour before someone with cleaner hands and a better LinkedIn profile came along. I walked back to the kitchen. Austin was still fighting the wine cork like it had personally insulted him. "Hey man," I said, keeping it even. "Just remembered I've got an early morning job. Gonna head out if that's all right." He blinked. "Everything okay?" "Yeah," I said with a smile. "Just your classic business plan emergency." He chuckled and waved me out. No drama, no scene. Just me, the moonlight, and the sound of a back door closing on a chapter that didn't need another page. I got in my truck, rolled the windows down, and drove. I don't know if I wanted the breeze or just needed to hear something besides my own thoughts. When I got home, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I just sat there. Thought about it. Not the popcorn and revenge fantasy kind of thinking, the kind where the mask finally slips and you realize the person across from you never saw a future at all. She never wanted me. She wanted the idea of me. Until that idea got too real, too oily, too early morning, too me. The next morning, I was at the shop before the sun came up, elbow deep in a 1972 Sportster rebuild. That kind of work is honest. It keeps your hands busy and your head quiet. There's something about taking apart a broken engine, cleaning every piece, and putting it back together better than it was that just hits different. Fixing a machine is easier than trying to fix a relationship that was never solid in the first place. Around 10 a.m., Natalie finally reached out. "Natalie, hey babe, you left early yesterday. Everything okay?" Me, "Yeah, all good." She didn't push, just pivoted. "Natalie, want to grab dinner tonight?" Me, "Can't." "Working late on the Sportster?" A few seconds passed. "Natalie, tomorrow then." Me. "This restoration's going to keep me busy for a while." That was it. No reply. No heart emoji. No miss you. Probably a relief on her end. Some breathing room from the blue-collar detour she'd been entertaining. Tuesday evening, my phone rang. Not a text, a call. That was her way of saying things had moved into what the hell is going on territory. "Braxton," she said. "The second I picked up, you've been different since Sunday. What's going on?" I was still at the shop, hands greasy, working on getting pistons to seat properly. I didn't stop. "Just focused on work," I said. "Are we okay?" She asked, her voice low. The kind of soft concern people use when they're trying to smooth over damage without really admitting to it. "We're fine, Natalie. Just busy." There was a pause on her end, and then the real question dropped. "When can I see you?" I looked at the half-assembled Sportster on my bench. It was laid out like a patient on an operating table. "I'll let you know when this project's done." She hung up without argument. No tears, no accusations, just confusion. Probably wondering when her fun little detour suddenly developed a spine and stopped playing along. I wasn't ready to have that full conversation. Not yet. First, I needed to take care of the practical stuff. Wednesday, I started pulling my things from her apartment. Quietly. Just the essentials. Socket set, multimeter, jumper cables. All the stuff I'd brought over during our 15 months together. Tools I used to fix her car. Help her move twice. The same ones I used when I unclogged her garbage disposal using nothing but a bent coat hanger and stubborn patience. That disposal growled at me. I still remember the sound. Thursday, I stopped by the bank and my insurance provider. Updated my emergency contact info. A few months back, Natalie had offered to be listed. Said it made sense since I didn't have much family nearby. It did seem practical at the time. Like keeping an umbrella in your truck, even though you live in the desert. Turns out you don't want your umbrella casually telling strangers you were never marriage material. Friday morning, I got a call from a local number I didn't recognize. I answered expecting someone asking about a parts order or if I still worked on Ducatis. It was Daisy. "Braxton, honey," she said, sweet like syrup over cold metal. "Natalie mentioned you two had a disagreement." What happened? Interesting phrasing. Not a breakup, not a falling out, a disagreement. Natalie had obviously been vague, smart, easier to manage the embarrassment that way. "No disagreement, Daisy. Everything's fine." "Well, good. We missed you at dinner Sunday. You're coming this weekend, right?" "Actually," I said, tightening a bolt just to have something to focus on. I'm going to be tied up with work for the foreseeable future. Pause, long enough to hear the tension ripple through her pearls. What did we do something wrong? Nothing wrong, I said. I just realized Sunday dinners aren't really working for my schedule anymore. That seems sudden. Are you sure everything's okay? Everything's fine, I repeated. Take care. And I hung up. No fight, no blow-up, no lecture. Just the click of a call ending like unsubscribing from a newsletter that never stops promoting the joys of passive judgment. That Friday afternoon, I was in the middle of reassembling the Sportster's engine. One hand on the torque wrench, the other resting in the kind of calm that comes from walking away instead of trying to change someone who never saw you clearly. Then she showed up, Natalie, hairstyled blazer, fitted heels clicking on the shop floor like she was inspecting a warehouse. She looked wildly out of place, standing between a stripped-down BSA frame and a pin-up calendar featuring a woman holding a carburetor. Braxton, she said, arms folded, tone clipped. We need to talk. About what? She scanned the shop, visibly uncomfortable. About whatever's going on with you. My mom said you're not coming to dinner anymore. Are you ending things? I set down the wrench, wiped my hands on a rag that used to be a t-shirt, and looked at her, really looked. I've just been thinking, I said, about what we both want long term. She blinked. What do you mean? I looked her over. The posture, the outfit, the expression that said, I didn't plan for this plot twist. I mean, I said carefully whether we're actually compatible for the long haul. Natalie's mouth opened like she was about to argue that the sun wasn't hot. Of course we are. We've been together for over a year. Have we? I asked, tossing the rag on the bench. Or have you just been keeping me around temporarily like a rescue dog? Until you find something with papers. Her face changed. The lights went out in her showroom smile. Braxton, I don't know what you think you heard. Oh, I know exactly what I heard, I said, my tone calm, steady. I heard you tell your mom and your friend that you'd never marry a mechanic. That I was fine for now. She went pale. The blood left her face like someone turned off a switch. I didn't mean it how it sounded. I leaned against the workbench. How did you mean it then? Walk me through the grease monkey to public relations translation. She faltered. My mom's been pressuring me about the future. I just said something to ease the tension. So your solution was to throw me under the bus. I wasn't thinking clearly. No, I said. You were thinking very clearly. That's the problem. You weren't cornered. You weren't confused. You were honest. That's not fair. It's completely fair, I said. And it's okay. You want someone clean-cut. Someone who wears cufflinks and knows which fork to use at a fundraiser. Go find that. But I'm not going to be your temporary +1 while you wait for a better option. Braxton, please. We're done, I said. Take care of yourself. And with that, I turned back to my work. The hum of the shop filled the silence engine's tools' air compressors. Stuff that made sense. Stuff that told the truth. She stood there a moment longer. I think she expected a speech, or for me to fold. But I didn't. Eventually, she turned and walked out. Saturday, the text started, all day. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. Can we please talk? My phone buzzed like a loose part in a Ducati. I didn't answer. If silence was good enough for her when she was sharing her real thoughts on FaceTime, it's good enough for me now. I didn't answer Natalie's messages that weekend. Not out of spite and not to play games. I just didn't see the point. She had already said everything that needed to be said, even if she didn't mean for me to hear it. When someone shows you who they are without knowing you're listening, that's the version you trust. Thank you for listening to today's stories. Part 2 will be updated soon. If you enjoyed listening, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also, leave a comment below to share your thoughts on what happened. Take care.